All right, so this bread is full of yeast, and he's saying, beware the yeast of the Pharisees. Now, here's what I want you to see. This bread is finished. The yeast has done all that it can do. It cannot become more than this. And this is what he was trying to tell the disciples. This is what he's trying to tell us. We're looking at our lives like a finished product, right? Beware the yeast of the Pharisees. Why? There's a limit to them, son. Don't get hung up on what they do or how they do it. It ain't the fullness of what I've come to do. Their yeast finishes the product. This 2-pound loaf right here will never be bigger than this, ever. Why? Because the yeast can only do so much. It can only rise so much. And the yeast of the Pharisees, same thing. The money in your bank account, same thing. The resources you have, the schooling, the letters behind your name, same thing. They limited, baby. They can only do so much. So beware the yeast of the Pharisees. Why? Because I got more to give. If you trust in that, you trust in what's in the pan, and that's it. But I came, says Jesus, to be the bread of life. I am the bread of life. He took the bread. Remember this? When the disciples brought the 5 loaves, the 7 loaves for the 5,000 and 4,000, and he broke it. Why? Because he's trying to show them that it is not in their resources. It's not in their efficiency or their capabilities that any of this is going to be accomplished. He said, feed the people. They said, we can't. He said, I know you can't. I'm going to break you. I need the old to be gone and the new to become. Beware the yeast of the Pharisees, son. Why? Because in order to see the kingdom of God, your righteousness has to surpass that of the Pharisees. What they got for you is limited. You will never get to my kingdom with that way of thinking, that way of doing. And that's why I came. Don't you understand when he hung on that cross? When darkness fell and the veil was dropped on the earth for those few hours, when he hung on Calvary, when the light of day shone again, the temple curtain was torn from top to bottom. It was rent. It was broken apart. It was torn in two, right? Just like he did for this bread. For what? That he might emerge through. It wasn't just for us to get to the Holy of Holies. It was for the Holies of Holies to get to us. Not just in the salvation of us, but in the living with us, the life that he gives us, the call that he has. If we trust in ourselves, if we are self-reliant, self-made, you know what I'm saying? If we just working hard, and you know the trap that this leads to. We think if we just do it again, but try harder this time, that we'll make it. And we double down the time after that and triple the time after that. And we grind ourselves into the ground, never obtaining that which we are seeking or our heart longs for. Why? Because that's the yeast, man. You will never be enough. The monies will never be enough. The pleasure will never be enough. It is all limited. But if we will come to Jesus and allow him to break us, we trade our finite for his infinite, our weakness for his strength. See what I'm talking about? That's why he breaks the bread, and that's what he calls every one of us to become, broken in him, that he might what? That he might shine through. We trade our natural for his supernatural. One loaf couldn't feed 5,000, but my God could. You know what I'm saying? One loaf was limited by the yeast, but the bread of heaven came and he fed. I'm talking manna, baby. That's what he came to be and to do.